Well, I don't know if we're live yet or not. I'm alive, which which has always been in doubt lately. But anyway, here I am in my office at our new home in Sacramento, California, and I'm sure this is a better view than all the boxes and everything that you saw at the place we were moving from. But if I would turn this computer around, you would also see a bunch of boxes and stuff too. But my office is probably the most organized room in the entire place. But anyway, I thought I would read one of my absolute favorite mystical pieces by Aleister Crowley. Now, I may have done this before, almost 2 years ago when the pandemic started, or I've read excerpts from it. But anyway, I thought I would go through Crowley's Wake World. Okay, it's from a book that he wrote very, very early in his. It's like an anthology. It's a collection of wild little essays and such. Some that he wrote before 1904, even before the awakening or the reception of the Book of the Law. So this is very early Crowley, and but it's obvious that he was in the Golden Dawn, because what I'm about to read is sort of the standard Golden Dawn view of the Kabbalistic cosmology. It's the Wake World from Conxom Pox. And briefly, before we start, it's a trip up the tree of life from number 10 through this path, through these paths, through these paths. Okay, initiation. Okay, as the Golden Dawn set out, was raising your consciousness from number 10 and systematically and scientifically raising your consciousness until you apprehend the totality of the singularity of number 1. And they viewed it as a two-part process. Creation itself, coming from the singularity down into all this shit, is like a lightning flash that goes all the way down. That's called the lightning flash. And then the initiatory career is a serpent's climb back up the tree, touching every one of these paths. So there's 10 major landmarks of the lightning flash, and then the snake comes along these 22 paths in its tedious return to the top. Now, going from number 4 to number 3 is crossing the abyss, or the I-5 freeway in California, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so Crowley tells this tale as a fairy tale, similar to Alice in Wonderland. It's obvious that he was inspired by Alice in Wonderland, because his character is a little girl, Lola Daydream. And Lola Daydream is taking that path up the tree of life, up those 22 paths, and to those landmarks 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way up. But she can only do so when her fairy prince or her holy guardian angel kisses her. And so it's a wonderful mystical romance too. So if you're ready, I'm going to start reading it to you. I don't know how many episodes it's going to take. But I'm also going to read to you each footnote as it comes along, because the footnotes were meant to be read in parallel to the text. And you'll have to forgive me every time that happens. I may digress, as is my wont. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? I hope you can hear me. The Wake World, Subfigura 95. My name is Lola, because I am the key of delights. There's a footnote. The footnote is Virgo Mundi, the world virgin. My name is Lola because I am the key of delights. And the other children in my dream call me Lola Daydream. When I'm awake, you see, I know that I'm dreaming. So that they must be very silly children, don't you think? There are people in the dream, too, who are quite grown up and horrid. But the really important thing is the wake-up person. Footnote, Adonai. Now, Adonai is a Kabbalistic and Hebrew name for God, but it's the one that's most often translated as Lord, and has always been a substitute word for the holy guardian angel. The really important thing is the wake-up person. There's only one, for there could never be anyone like him. I call him my fairy prince. He rides a horse with beautiful wings like a swan, or sometimes, well, and the footnote is of course Pegasus, or sometimes a strange creature like a lion or a bull with a woman's face and breasts, the Sphinx. And she has unfathomable eyes. My fairy prince, and in this particular case, Crowley puts his own Master of the Temple initials VVVVV. My fairy prince is a dark boy, very comely. And I think everyone must love him, and yet everyone is afraid. He looks through one as if one had no clothes on in the garden of God, and he had made one, and one could do nothing except in the mirror of his mind. He never laughs or frowns or smiles, because whatever he sees what is beyond as well. And so nothing ever happens. His mouth is redder than any roses you ever saw. I wake up quite when we kiss each other, and there is no dream anymore. But when it is not trembling on mine, I see kisses on his lips, as if he were kissing someone that one could not see. Now you must know that my fairy prince is my lover, and one day he will come for me for good and ride away with me and marry me. I shan't tell you his name, because it is too beautiful. It is a great secret between us. When we were engaged, he gave me such a beautiful ring. It was like this. First there was his shield, which had a sun on it, and some roses, all on a kind of bar, and there was a terrible number written on it. And there was a bank of soft roses with the sun shining on it, and above there was a red rose on a golden cross. And then there was a three-cornered star shining so bright that nobody could possibly look at it unless they had love in their eyes. And in the middle was an eye without an eyelid that could see anything, I should think. But you see, it could never go to sleep because there wasn't any eyelid. On the sides were written I-N-R-I and T-A-R-O, which means many strange and beautiful things, and terrible things too. I should think anyone would be afraid to hurt anyone who wore that ring. Now I digress for a moment. On my Facebook page, this morning I posted a picture of a really funky handmade paper ring or cardboard ring or poster board ring that I made for each member of Monday night class when we did this as a class series. So you might want to scroll down on my page just a few entries and see the picture of that ring. I tried as best I could to follow the instructions given here of what that looks like. Okay, digression over. It is all cut out of amethyst, and my fairy prince said, whenever you want me, look into the ring and call me ever so softly by my name, and kiss the ring and worship it, and then look ever so deeply into it, and I will come to you. Okay. Now, I'm going to digress. This may seem like it is all very personal to Aleister Crowley's particular initiatory career. We use his mottos and perhaps the name of his holy guardian angel or references to his mottos in his personal climb up the tree. But what this also is an example, more or less, of the format of everybody's climb up the tree, of everybody's initiatory career. So he's allowing us to eavesdrop, in a way, on the universal initiatory path. But as an example, he's giving his own. So I hope I've made that perfectly obscure. Okay. He says, look ever so deeply into it, and I will come to you. So I made up a pretty little poem to say every time I woke up, for you see I'm a very sleepy girl and dream ever so much about other children, and that's a pity, because there is only one thing I love, and that is my fairy prince. So this is the poem I did to worship the ring. Part of it is in words and part of it is in pictures. So he uses symbols of elements and symbols, astrological symbols and things like that. So I'll translate those for you. So you must pick out what the pictures mean, and then it all makes poetry. Invocation of the ring. Adonai, thou inmost fire, self-glittering image of my soul, strong lover to thy bride's desire, call me and claim me and control. I pray thee, keep the holy tryst within this ring of amethyst. For on mine eyes the golden sun hath dawned. My vigil slew the night. I saw the image of the One. I came from darkness into light, LVX. I pray thee keep the holy tryst within this ring of amethyst. I, me crucified, me slain, interred, arisen, inspire. Taro, me glorified, anointed, fill with frenzied fire. I pray thee keep the holy tryst within this ring of amethyst. I eat my flesh, I drink my blood, I gird my loins, I journey far. For thou hast shown the rose, the rood, the eye, and the silver star. I pray thee keep the holy tryst within this ring of amethyst. Prostrate, I wait upon, prostrate, I wait upon thy will, mine angel, for this grace of union. Oh, let this sacrament distill thy conversation and communion. I pray thee keep the holy tryst within this ring of amethyst. That's called the invocation of the ring. I have not told you anything about myself, because it doesn't really matter. The only thing I want to tell you about is my fairy prince. But as I am telling you all of this, I'm 17 years old and very fair, and when you shut your eyes to look... Oh, excuse me, let me say that again, please. But I'm telling you all of this. I'm 17 years old and very fair when you shut your eyes to look. But when you open them, I'm really dark with fair skin. I have ever such heaps of hair and big, big round eyes, always wondering at everything. Never mind, it's only a nuisance. I shall tell you what happened the other day when I said the poem in the ring. I wasn't really quite awake when I began, but as I said it, it got brighter and brighter, and when I came to the ring of amethyst, the 5th time, there are 5 verses, because my lover's name has 5 V's in it. He galloped across a beautiful green sunset, spurring the winged horse till the blood made all the sky turn rosy red. So he caught me up and set me on his horse, and I clung to his neck as we galloped into the night. Then he told me he would take me to his palace and show me everything. And one day when we were married, I should be mistress of it all. Then I wanted to be married to him at once, and then I saw it couldn't be because I was so sleepy and had bad dreams, and one could not be a good wife if one is always doing that sort of thing. But he said I would be older one day and not sleep so much. And everyone slept a little, but the great thing was not to be lazy and contented with dreams. So I meant to fight hard. And by, we came to a green place with the strangest house you ever saw. And that, in a footnote, he identifies as Regnum Spati Space Kingdom. Around the big meadow there lay a wonderful snake. With steel gray plumes and he had his tail in his mouth. And he kept eating it and eating it because there was nothing else for it to eat. And my fairy prince said he would go on like that till there was nothing left at all. Then I said it would get smaller and smaller and crush the meadow and the palace. And I think perhaps I began to cry. But my fairy prince said, "Don't be such a silly." And I wasn't old enough to understand what it all meant, but one day I should. And all one had to do was to be glad as glad. So he kissed me, and we got off the horse, and he took me to the door of the house, and we went in. And that's where Crowley's footnote said, it's the ceremony of 0 equals 0. And that's where we're going to leave it today. Again, this is The Wake World by Aleister Crowley. It's from his larger book called Conks on Pox. Thank you for letting me do this today. It was a half hour of calm and peace, and knowing that I'm with you. So it's going to be another busy day, another hot day, but hopefully I'll be here again tomorrow, same time. Hopefully I can do this every day as usual at 10 o'clock in the morning. So until then, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.